Welcome to the only Lunar Snow guide you will ever need. Why should you trust me? Well, I recently hit Grandmaster as a solo queue in 10 hours and an 81% win rate, playing almost exclusively healer, strategist. Most of the time was spent playing Lunar Snow, well at least before they got banned every other game in higher ranks. Luna is incredibly strong, outputting unmatched healing, and with a versatile moveset and one of the strongest ultimates in the game, she is an excellent pick for anyone looking to pick up the role or level up in ranked. So let's start with the basics and her auto attack, Light and Dark Ice. This is a volley of 3 hit scan shots that will either damage or heal depending on the target. Each shot will heal or damage for 20 for a total of 60 if you land the entire volley. Plus this can also crit for a total of 90 for a full volley of headshots. This means Lunar Snow, although a healer, can pump out significant damage numbers as well as healing. The only drawback here is that you have to have semi-decent mechanical aim to make the most of the auto attack heals. My preferred method here is to position your tank between yourself and the enemy and then aim through your tank. This way you will damage until your tank needs healing and then your shots will automatically start healing instead. Let's talk about movement. By default, Luna has the same basic speed as all heroes, being 6 meters per second. However, after 0.5 seconds, she will enable her first of 2 passive, Smooth Skate. This increases her movement speed to 9.67 meters per second and allows her first jump to be significantly higher. This jump can help her get to positions out of reach of some attacking heroes. This passive is stopped as soon as you use any abilities, jump, or if you are hit by some abilities, so it can be sometimes a little challenging to use this to escape. In most cases, you'll be using this to get back to site quicker or reposition to a more favourable position for your allies. Her second passive then is called Cryo. This will activate as soon as you use either her shift or right click abilities, healing 30 health per second for 3 seconds, for a total of 90 health. Please note though that if Cryo is active and you use another ability, the healing effect will not stack, it simply refreshes, so bear this in mind if you're trying to get some health back quickly. You would be better off finding a nearby health pack or friendly ally. Since both of the abilities have a 10-second cooldown or more, this won't activate often, but it's definitely enough to keep you topped up in the backline if undisturbed. Her first ability then, bound to shift by default, is Ice Arts. After a short cast time, Luna's attacks become a piercing shot that both damages and heals for 50 on each target. This ability lasts for 6 seconds, allowing you to fire a total of 9 shots. This is an excellent ability to not only get your allies back to full health, but also chunk down the enemies, so I'd recommend popping this if your team are getting a little low or likewise the enemy are looking a little low. This ability excels when both teams are grouped up, allowing you to do a total of 250 healing and damage in each shot, assuming you hit everyone. That's a ludicrous 2,250 healing and damage, assuming you hit everyone and do max damage. Use this ability sparingly though, as it is on a 15-second cooldown. Don't be afraid to use this ability offensively through your team to target the enemy healers in the backline. One unique interaction that a lot of people aren't aware of is that the cast time for Ice Arts can be substituted with your right click, removing the amount of downtime. But just be aware you won't get the full benefit of Cryo passive if you do this. Your second ability, Share the Stage, bound to E by default, places an idol on the chosen target, causing them to receive 35% of any healing you deal. There are typically 2 options here for placement. Number 1, you put it on a dive hero like Black Panther, Spider-Man or Psylocke, as they will quite often be out of LOS, allowing you to keep them topped up without seeing them at all. Very handy indeed. You also have the option of placing the idol on one of your tanks if they are being bursted down quickly, allowing you to do unmatched single target healing since the passive works in conjunction with the healing you deal to that target. If you are struggling with aim but have 2 tanks, I would recommend placing the idol on the tank with a smaller hitbox or self-shielding, let's say Doctor Strange, allowing you to focus attention on one with larger hitbox like Groot or Hulk. This is the most efficient way to keep your team topped up. Absolute Zero, bound to right click by default, fires a chunk of ice that freezes the first enemy it contacts. Please note, this has no fall off. I've seen lots of Lunas fire it up into the air thinking it's going to fall down like Mantis' shift ability. It doesn't. The target is frozen for a total of 2.7 seconds unless taking any damage, which will cause them to be unfrozen. However, they are exempt from being unfrozen for the first 0.5 seconds, which is enough time for Luna to get an entire auto attack volley off. Absolute Zero is on a 12-second cooldown and is one of very few abilities that Lunar Snow can use to repel people trying to dive her, so you want to be careful about keeping this off cooldown. That being said, it can be used offensively too. Try keeping it handy if you have a Venom diving you and is about to pop his shield at low health. Freezing him will prevent them from using any abilities, making them an easy target for your team. Oh, and remember, this is one of the 2 abilities that activates Cryo Heart, so bear that in mind. Your ultimate ability, Fate of Both Worlds, bound to Q by default, as I said earlier, is one of the strongest abilities in the game, probably top 3. Think of it like Lucio's healing on steroids. Popping this ability causes you to heal a ludicrous 250 HP per second in a relatively large radius. You are even immune to certain abilities, most notably Jeff's ultimate, but you aren't invulnerable. A well-placed Iron Man, Punisher or Doctor Strange ult will smash through this healing. Similarly, a headshot from a Hawkeye will kill you, so don't just stand in the middle of a team fight and hope for the best. This ultimate also has a secondary mode that can be toggled by pressing Q by default. This changes from healing to a 40% damage boost, which is also insane. Because of the sheer volume of healing the ability does, you can afford to switch back and forth between healing and damage, as it's more than likely your team won't die. If you are playing against another Lunar Snow, it's quite often it will be a race to get your ult first, knowing that it will inevitably be a team wipe. Or you get to an unfortunate position where you are both dancing around in the center waiting for the cooldowns to end. That's how strong this ability is. One note I would make here is that Q is a little bit awkward to switch between the 2 versions of this ult, so maybe switch it to one of your mouse buttons if you've got some gaming mice. Okay, so that was your abilities. Now let's look outside of that at hero team-ups for this season. In Season 0, there are 2 team-ups for Lunar Snow. The first is with Jeff and Namor. Queuing with either will grant an additional 15% healing to Lunar Snow's already insane healing, and each will get a new ice-infused ability. Jeff converts his Huck Tour auto-attack into ice that slows as well as damages, and the same for Namor. I just wanted to say Huck Tour. The second team up is with Iron Fist. Teaming with him grants him a 15% damage boost while granting Lunar Snow a new ability, Frozen Chi, which casts a spell 10 meters around Luna, damaging enemies for 25, knocking them back and slowing them for 20% for 2 seconds. This also heals any allies caught for 50. So all in all, very powerful ability, but it's on a very long cooldown, so use this only if you're being dived or if you need it in the middle of an intense team fight. So that's team-ups, but what about other notable synergies outside of this? Well, I've mentioned that your Share the Stage ability can be used on either a dive hero or a tank in a pinch. Well, how about both? Venom is an excellent pick for Lunar Snow, as you can grant healing if he swings out of LOS, which, let's be honest, is going to happen a lot, although you get the additional resilience if you are being dived, as their excellent movement allows them to swing back and help you out. Granted, this will require some good communication between the 2 of you. So what about counters then? Well, I've already mentioned that there are a few counters to your ultimate, notably Iron Man and Strange, who are both excellent picks, especially at the minute because they team up with Hulk. So they will be picked 9 times out of 10 in higher ranks. Aside from this, your biggest issue as Luna is dive, since she doesn't really have a huge amount of ways to escape, unlike some support players like Cloak and Dagger or Rocket. You are mainly relying on a well-placed Absolute Zero, but this is often difficult to hit. For this reason, characters like Venom, Spider-Man, Black Panther, Psylocke or Iron Fist can be a nuisance, especially in lower ranks. If you are being dived, start by using your E, Absolute Zero. It doesn't matter if you miss, since you will have already activated your passive for 3 seconds, effectively granting you 340 health instead of the 250 base you have. During this time, try auto-attacking and then you can pop your shift later to try and finish the job. Finally, let's look at general positioning. I just mentioned that your weakness is dive, so this is always going to be at the forefront of your mind. Your best place to maximize healing, damage and self-preservation is behind your tanks, not so far as to be a sitting duck, but not too close as to become the target of an enemy attacks. If you have 2 dive characters, meaning you are alone in the backline, which let's be frank is going to happen a lot at lower elos because everyone thinks they're amazing at dive, then it's worth taking note of where the regen globes are and playing close to your remaining strategist. Oftentimes, healers will want to take the high ground, which is true of many healers like Rocket or Loki, but Luna's abilities like Ice Arts will actually get more value from ground level, so bear this in mind. Fortunately, you have the higher jump granted by Smoothskate, so sticking around a ledge you know you can jump to is sometimes worth considering. So to conclude then, Luna Snow pumps out unmatched single target healing, provided you are able to reliably get your auto attacks off. Her abilities are similarly well-rounded, and she has one of the best ultimates in the game, granting your team an edge in almost all team fights. Playing around her passives and cooldowns is critical to ensure you not only survive, but get full value out of her kit. In terms of synergies, there are a few notable picks in Season 0. The healing boost granted by Namor or Jeff is a game changer, but you are definitely at risk of dive heroes, so consider this when picking up your team and how you position your characters. All in all, Luna Snow is an excellent pick for anyone looking to play the game and level up through ranked in Marvel Rivals. If you found this guide helpful, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe for more content, and I will see you in the next video.